Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to change the fuel filter on the Mark IV Megane RS Trophy. So what I only use obviously the new filter. Here's the part number. It's just a regular petrol filter that comes in many Renault cars. Nothing special about it. It's just a plastic piece, which I'm guessing has like a paper cartridge inside. Right, so there's the fuel filter that you need. Then you also need a 10 and a 13 mil hex sockets, a small ratchet, a small brush, and all of these tools for fuel pipes. You don't need this really, but you can do it by hand as well, but it's easier with this if you don't know how to use it. Right, so let's crack on with it and I'll show you. It's a really simple process really. Right, so on the Mark IV Megane RS, the fuel filter is just underneath the rear right wheel, under the wheel arch, somewhere here. I'll show you next. To make it easier, you'll have to jack up the car, and you also need a drain pan to drain the excess petrol that comes in the oil filter. So I've already lifted the car up on the jack, and then you'll find the fuel filter just underneath there. As you can see on the video, is that bit there with the hose coming in and out of it. So to remove the existing filter, there is a 10mm bolt underneath there that you need to undo. It's got like a metal bracket securing it. As you can see that bolt over there, that 10mm bolt. However, I'm not sure if you'll still be able to remove it because it's quite tight in there and you can't lift it up, the bracket. So we might have to remove this 13mm here, which secures the whole like metal bracket, the filter all together. It's the chassis, and also holds this bit of the this part of the fuel tank, but it'll be alright. It's not going to fall on you or anything, so might want to consider that. So let's go ahead and do it. Wiggle it out of the place carefully, and then you need to remove these two connectors. You need to use a drain pan for that. Carefully remove these. So to remove these, you need to press these two tabs, plastic tabs. Again, if you can't push them with your fingers, you might need to use the tool. It's easy enough to do it with the fingers. still in here. That's okay. Just put that on the side and then remove the top one as well. And then drain the fuel properly. Just quite a bit of fuel inside it, so make sure you drain it properly. Let's give it a quick shake to make sure there is nothing left inside it anymore. So whoever tells you that on the RSU filter is lifetime, that's just BS, mate. Look at all that. I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, there's a lot of like debris in the what came out of the filter. So you better change this. I'll probably say every 4 or 5 years just change it. It's not a fortune anyway, it's a cheap filter. Right, so I brought this here on my bench to show you the old filter with the bracket. As you can see, it's quite dirty. 22 of December 2017, and that's the original pod number 8200386495, and that's the 10mm bolt that we need to remove, and then we can slide this whole filter off the bracket and pop the new one back in and install it on the car. So I'll remove this off camera and I'll come back with a comparison. Yeah. So I have cleaned the old filter a bit, so just comparisons of them side by side. As I say, they're pretty much identical, except obviously the new one has a new code because it's made by a different, I'm guessing, factory or company, but it's still a Renault piece anyway. And this is the old one, which, funny enough, I can read the code KL416 on it, which is usually a Mali code. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. And then the bracket has this rubber piece as well, which kind of like protects, because this is just a plastic filter, so it protects it against, I'm guessing, cracking or whatever when you tighten the clamp on it. So yeah, there's not much to it. As I said, it's just a simple in and out filter. The arrow on it shows you the way you connect it. It's the same, the old one has got these arrows on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put a new one into the brackets and then pop it in the car, and that should be it really. So just crack on with it. Right, so with the new filter in the bracket now, we're going to be installing it underneath the car. So what you want to do first is remove these plugs that come from factory. So obviously you need to remove those, and then you want to plug in the fuel lines first into it and then install it on the actual chassis. Now you make sure you install the fuel lines in the right position, so the one that's got more bend to it, it goes on the top, and then the one that's almost like straight goes on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and install it. Let me put the camera down, hopefully you can see something from there. Right, also the bendy one on the top. Make sure you push it until you hear the click, and make sure you wiggle it to make sure it's fully secure. And then the other one on the bottom, same. Make sure you hear the click, and now you can pop it back into position in here, and then install the 13mm bolt back in here. Also make sure you align this bracket with the sign on the fuel tank, the sign from like the old position. You want to install it on the same position. Move this. That's it, all secure. Yeah, everything looks good. So now what's left is to jump in the car, start it. That will prime the whole system back, because obviously there's a bit of air in here now. But then obviously when you put the ignition on, the fuel pump pushes fuel through the lines and through the filter, and then start the engine and go for a quick drive and make sure everything is fine, and that's it really. So that's it, not a big job, but yeah, I recommend doing it, although there is no service regime in the Renault manual for this filter. You still need to replace it, I reckon, every 4 or 5 years. So yeah, that's it guys, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. So, for the people that say that all the fuel filter is lifetime on the DRS, I've cut the whole filter, so this is how dirty it is. It's absolutely dirty, and it's not because of the debris from my my cutout here, but it's just filthy. So you don't want to run a performance car like DRS on something like this really. So guys, replace it every 4 or 5 years, even sooner than that if you want, because it's a cheap part anyway. So absolutely filthy, man. Look at this. I'm so glad I changed it. Right, so that wraps it up guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Look at that. Right, bye now.